Staying organized with Google Calendar. Google Calendar is, they call it a time management and scheduling calendar service, but it's a calendar app that was developed by Google, and it's available for free in the Play Store if you have Android or the App Store if you have iPhone. I don't think that there are actually any paid features on Google Calendar. I think it is free. Like when we've downloaded apps in the past, it's going to be a real similar process. One thing is that you might actually have Google Calendar downloaded on your phone already. Like it might be pre-installed on your phone if you have an Android phone. It might have shown up in there somewhere along the way. But to make sure, you can still go to the App Store or the Play Store and just search for Google Calendar. And you'll either see something that says download, or you'll see like what we have here that says open, which means that it is already on the phone. We're just going to open it up. So if it does say download, just click on download. And then once it's downloaded, you'll see that open button. So whenever you see the open button, go ahead and click on it to get started. So if you use any Google app on your phone, if you use Gmail, if you use the Google Chrome browser, any of that, which I think a lot of us do, then you should be automatically logged into a Google account or a Gmail account already on your phone. So when you open Google Calendar, it's going to open and link to the account that's logged in on your phone. Okay, so you can check the account, then make sure that it is linking to your account by looking at the icon in the top right-hand corner. If you have a picture that goes with your Gmail or Google account, it'll show up there. Mine says S for Francis. If you don't have a picture, it'll probably be one of your initials. But just make sure that you're putting things on the calendar that is the sort of primary Gmail account you're using on your phone. That's just to make sure that all of your appointments are ending up in the same calendar. You can have multiple calendars. We're not going to talk about that much today. We're going to talk about the sort of basic features of adding an event to your calendar and adding a notification so that you're reminded when that event's going to happen. So when you open Google Calendar, you should see a relatively blank calendar like this, unless you've used it before. It's already pre-populated with holidays. So you can take that off if you want to, but I find it helpful to know when they are. So that's the beginning of January. I just cropped that picture so the rest of the month is on the bottom of the screen. Okay, so when you open it up, you'll generally see it in what's called the month view. So this is the full screen of the month view. Depending on the month, it'll give you the whole range of dates in that month. And I think like a week into the next month as well, just so you can see that. There's different ways that you can view the calendar though, because sometimes you want to see the whole month. Sometimes you only want to see today or the next couple days. In order to change the way you're seeing your calendar or what sort of range of dates you're seeing on your calendar, you're going to click these three lines in the top left-hand corner of the screen. And then you'll see these options. You have the schedule view, the day view, 3 days, week, or month. So you can click on any of these you want to see. So the schedule is actually just going to show you all your upcoming events. The day will be 1 day, 3 days, 3 days in the future, and then the week or the month. And I'll show you a little bit what these different views look like. And you can move through these however you want to. Whenever you want to look at a different increment of days, just go up to those three lines and click which view you'd like to see. This is the schedule view. Got little pictures that go with it. It'll just list, all the things that you have upcoming. So because my calendar doesn't have much on it right now, it's mostly holidays. What it's going to show me is the holidays coming up. So it's just got these ranges of dates where I don't have anything in there, but then it's like, first day of Black History Month, Valentine's Day. And that is a good way to see all of your upcoming events once you have more in there. The second one is the day view. So if you want to see just today, and it'll show you the exact time, like the line here is going to be the time that it is when you open it. And then the 3-day one is real similar to the single day one. It just gives you 3 days worth of scheduled events. And again, I don't have anything on here, but we'll see what that looks like in just a second. So you can move back and forth as you need to, always going to those three lines at the top left-hand corner to change views. So this is how you add an event. So from any of those screens, the 1 day screen, the 3 day screen, month, anything, you should see this little plus sign at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side. That's how you add an event to your calendar. That's how you add anything to your calendar. But today we're going to be looking at events in particular. You're going to click on that plus sign. And again, it's in any of those views. You should see it there. And it's going to give you a couple of different options. Right now we're focused on events. And I just wanted to note too that the word event here could be anything. It doesn't have to be something that's like a formalized event. It's like it could be a doctor's appointment. It could be, a time that you're traveling, anything that you want to put on your calendar to remember. It could even be like a notification to take medicine or something like that. That's just what they use for like any sort of thing that you want a reminder for, that's like an action that's going to take place at any point. So just like you would put anything on a calendar, it's just the word they use to do that. So you're going to click on event, and you should see a screen that looks something like this. So you can tap on each of these fields to change the settings, to add your title to your event, to add the time, and we'll go through that real quick. You'll see too, you see the Tech Talk Test email right here. That's because this calendar is linked to that Tech Talk Test email. If you want to double check just to make sure that you're linked to the right email, that's a good place to look for that. Literally just tap on that where it says add title, and you can write the name, doctor's appointment, meeting, whatever it is that the event is. And then you're going to go to here to do your start time and your end time. When you click on these, a little box will come up and you move the dial to where you want it to be. I think generally the default is that they give you an hour in between, but you can change that like to half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever, however long your event is. If something is all day, like, so if you say like you want a reminder for someone's birthday or something's just happening all day, you can switch to the right, and it won't give you the option of setting a time on it, because it'll just assume that the event is all day, and it'll show up in your calendar for the full day. And then if you want to add a location, you can go here and it'll link you to Google Maps. So you can type in a address. It'll actually link you to a Google Map, so you can get directions to get there, which is kind of nice. You don't have to add a location. You don't have to do that part of it, especially if it's something like a Zoom call or something. But it's an option if you want to. Now, this part I think is particularly helpful for staying organized, is setting up a notification for your event. The way that my calendar was set up, I think this was a setting I might have put in there at some point, was that it automatically is sending me notifications 30 minutes before event. But I want to show you how to set up a notification based on what would be helpful to you. And you can schedule more than one notification if you'd like to be notified at multiple times. And these are going to come through on your phone as a push notification. So those are like when you get the notifications on your phone from any app that you have notifications set for. This will just be another one. They'll say, reminder to get on Tech Talk at 12:30, and it'll show up like that. So if you have any notification setting that's like a ring or a buzz or anything like that, that's what it'll do. So it's real helpful to, for me at least, to give me enough sort of pre-warning of when something is about to happen, that I can make sure I remember and I'm there. Okay, so how you do that is you're going to click on add notification, and it's going to give you some suggestions. So do you want to get a notification 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, a day before, a week before? You can do, all sorts of different things. You can set a custom one based on when you would like to get your notification. And again, like I said, you can set up multiple ones of these. So if you want 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 15 minutes, you just go in there and set up multiple notifications, whatever works for you. So if you go to custom, this is just, if you click on that custom button, it'll ask you how many minutes, hours, days, or weeks before the event you'd like to be notified. It also gives you the option too, if you don't want to get that notification as a push notification, but instead you want it as an email that's directly sent to your email account. If it's going to be the email account that's linked to the calendar, that's fine too. You can select that as an option if you'd rather not get a push notification. So you can set up, again, as many of those as you need. I mean, there might be a limit, but I think it's a very high one. You can set up multiple notifications. Okay, another thing too, just visually, that can be helpful, especially if you have a lot of events on your calendar, is that you can change the color of the event and how it shows up. So you might want to color code things. My example that you'll see on the next slide is Tech Talk next week. So I put red because Smart logo has red in it, that could indicate Smart events for me. You could say use blue for your doctor's appointments and then lavender for family events. Some people work really well with that sort of visual color coding. So it gives you the option to do that. I think there's like 10 or 12 different colors you can choose from. So if that's your thing, there's definitely ways to do that. So when it shows up on my calendar, which I'll show you in just a second, it'll show up in tomato. Okay, so this is my example event. So Smart Tech Talk next week, next Tuesday, January 30th, 12:30 to 1. I didn't put a location because it is on Zoom. And I set a notification for 1 hour before. So that's all the settings for this. When I click on save, make sure you click on save. That's what's going to save it in your calendar. This is the month view. It shows up next week on the 30th. It looks kind of small there. If you want to see it closer, you can just click on the date and it'll take you to the day view. And then if you want to edit an event, so if you need to change something about it, you need to change the time, the notifications, anything like that, just click on the date from whatever view you're at. If it's a day view or the month view, just click on the event directly. You'll see a screen like this, And then you just click on the little pencil here to make changes. And that'll give you all the options you had before to change it. You can also delete it from there as well if it ends up that you don't need it in your calendar. And I wanted to just give you a quick tip because I know that for me at least, it can be disorienting sometimes when you're scrolling through the calendar on your phone. Sometimes you end up in months and even years that are not where you meant to be. Like you're just scrolling through and you end up jumping ahead. To get back to the current date, you always should have up here, this right here again, it says the 22nd since I made this yesterday, but it'll say the current date on this little icon. That's what you click to get back to today, right? So like if you have suddenly gone off into 2027, which I have definitely done, just click that button and that will bring you back to today's date in whatever view you're looking at. If you get thrown into the future or the past, that's the way to get back to today. You might have a folder that's called Google App. If you don't see it in there, you can search your apps to see where it is if it doesn't show up really obviously. But then I would pin it, like click on it and pin it to your front page if you're going to use it a lot. If you just downloaded it though, it should be at the end of wherever your apps list is. So it should show up as your last app